Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 1st of October 2021. And first of all, I'd like to apologise this week. It's been a bit of a rush. I've been a bit off colour, so a little preparation. So I'm doing this a bit off the cuff, so bear with me if it's not as good as normal. But I'll try and get through things as best I can. So let's start, as always, with a look at the world of football. Start by looking at the results from the European Games that's been completed this midweek. And very mixed bag of results, I've got to say, for the British teams. In the Champions League, only really Liverpool came out with any credit, although Manchester United did win eventually with a very, very late winner from Ronaldo to beat Villarreal 2-1. Liverpool won comfortably 5-1 away to Porto. Man City were beaten 2-0 away to PSG, the game which they dominated most of possession but couldn't find a way through. And they were undone by an early goal by Idrissa Gana Gueye, who was very poor when he played for Aston Villa, not great at Everton, but now he's a superstar at Paris Saint-Germain. And a brilliant piece of magic and a superb goal by Leo Messi, which nobody had stopped, to be fair. To any goalkeeper or defence, it was a brilliant football. So PSG made the most of the chances. City had more of the game, but this weren't penetrative enough, and that's obviously going to may come back to haunt them again during the season. A lack of centre-forward, or quality centre-forward, really. So disappointing result for them. Chelsea were beaten 1-0 by Juventus. Caught cold just after the half-time interval by Chiesa. Fantastic goal, great player. Locatelli had a good game as well for Juventus. In fact, the Juventus team played to the best, really. They managed the game brilliantly. Chelsea got frustrated, and Tuchel seemed to run out of ideas a little bit, which has been surprising. Which is surprising for him because he's been really good so far. But when you bring in on players like Loftus-Cheek and Barkley, who are really out up to that standard as far as I'm concerned, playing in the Champions League, they were running out of ideas and they didn't really create a lot. They were missing N'Golo Kanté, who's suffering with COVID, unfortunately, at the moment, and also Mason Mount, who we've missed massively in the last few weeks. He plays a big part in that team, and they seem to miss him badly when he doesn't play. Also, Juventus seem to know what to do with Lukaku. They knew how he'd performed against them for Inter, and he's had a poor record against Juventus in the past, and I think they drew experience from that, and it seemed to work as a part of their game plan. So disappointing for Chelsea. So it's only game round 2 though, but it was a big win for Manchester United. Like I said, they were a little bit fortunate to win, really. Villarreal could have won the game a few minutes before, but they missed a really good chance, and United scrambled it away. But they needed that victory to keep them in there, because if there'd been 2 games and no points or 1 point, they might have been a little bit up against it, but it should be okay now, I would think. Moving on to the Europa League, and last night's results, again, disappointment there, apart from really West Ham played really well at home to Rapid Vienna. I think it was Rapid Vienna. Yeah, and they beat them 2-0. Declan Rice scored actually last night. Nice to see him scored, and wrapped up in injury time by Ben Rama. So good result for them. Leicester were beaten by Legia Warsaw 1-0 away. I watched most of that game as well. And I forgot to say Leicester were very poor. They tried to play using the reserve team, and it didn't work. And Brendan Rodgers ended up bringing up players like Maddison, Albrighton, Barnes and Vardy, but it was just too late, really. He had no impact. It's like he doesn't seem to know what he's doing in European football. I think he's a good manager, but he seems to struggle a bit with the European games. So not a good result for them. Rangers were beaten 1-0 away to Sparta Prague. Celtic took a bit of a drubbing at home to Bayer Leverkusen 3-0. And like I say, they're the 4 teams in the Europa League. And we've got in the Conference League, Tottenham won 5-1 against Mura, which is not great, really. I mean, it should be beating teams like that. It shouldn't even be in the Conference League, to be fair. They're too good for that. Keynes came as sub, and he got a hat-trick. Early goals from Dele Alli and Giovanni Lo Celso in the first 8 minutes, actually, gave Tottenham a great start. Mura pulled one back just after half time, but it was a convincing victory for Tottenham, really. But they should waltz through that stage of the competition. I mean, they're probably the best, if not them and Roma are probably the best 2 teams in the competition. So we'll see how that develops, but you've got to be with a chance of winning it, I would have thought. Okay, moving back now to look at the Premier League last weekend, looking forward to what's coming this weekend. And we've got the big game this weekend, Liverpool against Manchester City on Sunday. That'll be something to really look forward to. But at the moment, Liverpool are top of the table after a hard-fought 3-3 draw away to Brentford. That was a fantastic game to watch. I was switching between that and Chesterfield and Torquay in the National League, but I ended up watching mainly the Liverpool game and missing Torquay's 2 late goals against Chesterfield. Apologies, Aidan Varney from Jamaica, for that comment. But to be fair, we'll come on to those in a moment. The National League. Liverpool's draw, hard fought against Brentford. Brentford fought back twice to get a 3-3 draw. It was a great game to watch. Like I say, very entertaining. 6 goals, you can't beat that. It's the kind of game you want to see every week. Got to big shout out to my other team as I see. I'm wearing my retro kit today, my 1990s Aston Villa away kit, which everybody loves because of the terrible colour scheme. A victory at Old Trafford, the first one since 2009. Only I think the third victory they've had in that sort of 45 games, going back to 1996 in league matches. That is off. I don't count the League Cup victory against whatever team they played out in 2000, whatever. I don't count, but it was great. They played well, did Villa. I know Manchester United had the penalty at the end, which Bruno skied, and it's now landed in the moon somewhere. But irrespective of it, I think Villa looked like they were the better team from what I saw of it. My friend went, he's not a Villa fan, but he said they probably deserved to win overall. But yeah, it was a good result for Villa, and not so good for Manchester United. There's a bit of wobble there, and like I say, they struggled in Europe as well during the week. But every team, it's probably, Man United fans will probably say, if you're going to have a wobble, you want to have it now, and they're probably right, to be fair. So, in the other games, last weekend, Leeds lost at home to West Ham 2-1. Arsenal had a very good victory at home to Tottenham 3-1. They looked very good, especially in the first half. Tottenham looked poor in the first half, they're a little bit better in the second half, but Arsenal looked like they may have found an 11, which maybe the first choice if you can keep them all fit. If they do, they'll probably do quite well, I reckon. They've got some good young players. Smith Rowe was really good, so was Saka. In the first half they were really good. Odegaard had a decent game as well, so defence looks settled now. I think keep Tierney fit, and now they've got Ramsgate in goals, who's been picked for England, and we'll come on to that in a moment as well. They've got a chance of moving up the table from where they were. They were really struggling at the beginning. At the bottom end of the table, I've got to say Norwich are really struggling. I don't know how many games they're going to win. They look really, really out of the depth. They've got Burnley away tomorrow, so they might have a chance there. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, Liverpool are top with 14, and we've got a cluster of teams on 13. Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, and then we've got I think Brighton are on 12 after that as well. Sorry, Brighton on 13 as well. They're 6 as well, and West Ham, they're up there as well. Villa, I think West Ham are 7th actually, and Villa are 8th, and Brighton are 6th. I've missed one team out, so I apologise there for missing the team out, but it's not prepared proper this week. So yeah, that's what's been going on in the Premier League. Like I said, the big game this weekend is Liverpool against Manchester City, and that's one that we want to win. Liverpool at home have got to be favourites. The form's been very good recently. Man City, off the back of that defeat, have something to prove, I guess. So let's hope it'll be a good match. So make sure if you've got Sky, you can watch that on Sunday afternoon. I think it kicks off at 4:30. Yeah. So moving away from that, we'll talk about England now. The England squad was announced yesterday. A couple of surprises, perhaps. I wasn't aware of the fact that Patrick Bamford's injured, so he wouldn't have been picked anyway. But Ollie Watkins is back in, so well done for him to get into the team from Villa. Also, Tyrone Mings is in the squad, as he has been for quite some time now. Couple of surprises, you would say, that perhaps Mason Greenwood probably merited a place in the team, but he doesn't seem to like him, doesn't Gareth, or something there stopping him picking him. Also left Jude Bellingham out, which I'm a little bit surprised about, because he has been playing pretty well from what I've seen. But Aaron Ramsdale's been picked as third choice goalkeeper. Southgate stated that he felt that he's been better vein of form than Tom Pope's been in recently, so that's why he's picked him. Good to see Jesse Lingard in the squad performing well. In fact, he was the man who set up the goal for Ronaldo to score the winner against Villarreal the other night. It was his work really that did it for him. So he's in again. That's good. But generally, the England team, they look okay at the moment. Harry Kane performs for England sometimes better than he does for Tottenham, but you never know what you're going to get with Harry Kane. But for England, he'll always do his best, especially in the qualifying games. I think they're playing Hungary and Andorra. We should beat those teams. I mean, we've won in Hungary away, it's at home, and Andorra, wherever you're playing, we should win comfortably. So should be 2 victories really. It's not a major thing. So let's hope England can get 6 more points on the board. In the Conference National, Halifax had a good win last Saturday. A victory at Aldershot, 1-0, hard-fought victory. Pete Wells says it's a typical away game, or a proper away victory is what he said. This Saturday we're away to Barnet, another team who were near the bottom of the league. Them and Aldershot are down now, but I think Barnet actually won the last game, so it took them out of the bottom 3. So they've got a new manager. Hopefully it doesn't have the bounce isn't still in effect this week, and Halifax can come away with some more points to keep up the push. I think they're 5th at the moment in the league, so they're doing really well. Dagenham are the leaders at the moment. A little bit of a surprise perhaps. Even money teams like Chesterfield, Wrexham, Stockport, Notts County, mixed bag of results for them. Stockport beat Wrexham last Saturday, so it brought Wrexham. Stockport hasn't had such a good start, but that improves it a little bit. Wrexham been knocked back by that. Town have also got a game on Tuesday night, and they're home to Notts County. That's a big game for us. I'm looking forward to that one. Hopefully we can get something out of it. I'm taking my friends on to watch that, so I hope they'll enjoy it. So Halifax are doing pretty well at the moment. So that's a roundup on the football. On to the cricket now, and congratulations to Warwickshire on winning the county championship. I thought Lancashire were going to win it, but Warwickshire managed to beat them at the last minute. So that's good for them, so well done to them. I know Mike Jakeman will be really pleased about that. He's a big Warwickshire fan coming from Nuneaton, so well done Mike, you deserve that. And now they've got the Bob Willis Trophy. They're playing against Lancashire Lords. They've made a good start to that game as well, but hopefully the weather won't intervene and stop them winning that as well. So yeah, that's what's happening in the domestic scene there. Yorkshire finished 5th, which is not bad. They're in the top division. They did 5th. They did okay. Obviously decimated by the England call-ups. Doesn't help them very much really. And when it came to crunch, they weren't allowed to play their England players, or they didn't want to play. I don't know what the situation was exactly, but obviously it's down to the ECB and the central contract to decide whether they can play or not. It would have been nice to see Root, Milan or Bairstow play at the end in the last couple of games, but they didn't. So it's done now. In the IPL, Chennai Super Kings got through became the first team to reach the playoffs when they beat Hyderabad, Sunrisers Hyderabad yesterday. Moeen Ali was playing. Moeen Ali, I think, announced his retirement from Test cricket this week. If you've got any comments about that, or how do you feel about him retiring? Do you think it's the right thing to do? Perhaps he wasn't performing to the level he should do. Were there other factors? You might want to comment on that below. And when you've watched this video, but he's retired. But he got 17 yesterday. Contributed a little bit with a bat. He wobbled a bit, but they got on by 6 wickets. So that goes on. There's the IPL. So no real local cricket news this week, unfortunately, not that I've heard of anyway. So I can't really comment on anything there. I've not had anything through. But like I say, I will keep you updated with anything that happens from the local clubs. So guys from Bradshaw, Sowerbridge, Myton Road, all you teams out there, watch this. People who watch the videos, if you've got any comments you want to make or want to tell me any news you've got about your clubs during the winter, I'm sure Halifax Cricket League will keep us updated anyway. I'll follow the Twitter feeds, and I'll put something on about those when it's relevant. Big weekend in Speedway. It's the last 2 rounds of the Grand Prix starting tonight, so it's going to be either Artem Laguta or Bartosz Zmarzlik going to be champions. Both rounds this weekend. Torren tonight, tomorrow. 1 point in favour of Laguta at the moment. It should be an exciting finish. Let's see who wins. Let's hope that Ty Woofman and Robert Lambert can fly the British flag in the last 2 rounds. Lambert probably needs to have a couple of good performances, which may get him a wild card for next season, hopefully, because he performed really well in the last rounds in Voyans, and we want at least 2 British riders to be in it next season. So Ty will probably a little bit disappointed with his overall performance this season. He's not really been at it, not to the level that is expected of himself more than anything else, I would say. So come on Ty, do us proud in the last 2 rounds, that'd be good. Both lads actually do well. So that's Speedway. In Rugby League, we've got the playoffs in the way now, and congratulations to Halifax Panthers on the good result. A hard-fought victory at home at the Shea. Well, I said Thurmall then. The Shea against the Whitehaven last Sunday, and the reward for that is a tie this weekend away to Featherstone Rovers, which will be really tough. Batley will leave a playoff game. They beat Bradford Bulls, so Batley are now playing at Toulouse. I don't know if that's not Toulouse, or it's going to be played in England at Swinton. I haven't really checked the venue for that, but they've got Toulouse. I'd expect it to be a Toulouse against a Featherstone final, in all honesty. I'm not sure Halifax have got enough to beat Featherstone. I hope they can, and good luck to them. So fingers crossed for that. In the Super League, last night, Catalans qualified for the grand final by knocking out Hull KR. They beat them by 28 points to 10. And the other game, I think it's tonight, will be St Helens against Leeds. I'd expect St Helens to win that to set up a grand final at Old Trafford a week tomorrow. So keep your eyes on the TV for that. If you've got Sky again, you can watch that game tonight. And the Championship games I mentioned previously, they're both on Sky tomorrow afternoon, I think it is, one after the other. So Halifax Panthers fans, make sure you're watching if you can, and good luck to them. Okay. Next we're on to stock cars, and this weekend we've got a double weekend meeting, Saturday and Sunday at Buxton. Turnout bookings looks reasonable. We've got 39 booked in for Saturday and 40 for Sunday. Most of the top guys are booked in: Tom Harris, Ryan Harrison, Lee Fairhurst, Frankie Wayman Jr., Matt Newsom. They're all taking part this weekend. I think it must be a National Series round as well, so a shootout round, so that's why I've got a good turnout. Hopefully we'll get some good racing in there. I hope the conditions aren't going to be too bad. The weather's not been too good in this last few days. That's one of the reasons I've missed out on the Speedway. I've come back to that in a minute about the Speedway playoffs here. But yeah, Buxton's quite inhospitable in bad weather, having been a few times, so let's hope it stays at least somewhat dry. Even it absolutely drenched, but should get some good racing. I forgot, like I say, the Speedway, the domestic situation in the Speedway. I mentioned the Grand Prix, but in the playoffs in this country, Peterborough won the first leg at Wolverhampton by 46 points to 44, and they're now at home on Tuesday and on Monday on the second leg. Bellevue's first leg at Sheffield last night was waterlogged. The match was postponed due to a waterlogged track. It looked pretty grim from the TV pictures that I saw. So that's been rearranged also for Monday, which is a bit of a shame. It ain't going to be on TV now. They might show some of the highlights, I believe, from what they mentioned last night. So they're going to be flicking to their match. But the main coverage will be the second leg of Peterborough against Wolves. So, and then Bellevue, obviously, the second leg is at home next Thursday, weather permitting, at the National Speedway Stadium. So Peterborough are looking favourites to get to the final. Anything could happen in the other match. So keep your eyes on that. Eurosport Monday night, I think it's 7:30, and then Thursday, same time, for the second leg of the Bellevue meeting. Again, like I say, weather permitting. One other thing to mention before I go is the Ryder Cup, which was a disappointment. Not so much because of the fact that the European team played poorly. It was more the fact of how well the American team played, really. But some great players. They played as a team. And as I saw a comment yesterday from Padraig Harrington when he was playing himself in a tournament, he said they basically copied the Team Europe game plan from the previous competition where Europe had been so successful, and they worked and he played so well. Like he said, they were brilliant with America. And for Europe, I felt a bit sorry for Rory McIlroy. I'm not a big fan of McIlroy, but I've got to say I did feel a bit sorry for him. He felt a bit let the team down. I don't think he did, really, to be honest with you. He did win the point on the last day. But I think we're looking to the future now, some younger players. I think it could be the last one for people like Poulter, who did perform alright, and Leo Westwood actually, when they all won, they're the ones that won on the last day, but some of the older ones will probably go in there. Probably the two I'm thinking of, really, Poulter and Westwood. They were good performances. Like John Rahm played pretty well apart from on the last day, and so did Sergio Garcia, but it was a bit patchy compared to the likes of Dustin Johnson, who deserves special mention. He became only the third player ever to get the perfect 5 points out of play all 5 games and win all 5 points. He's only the third man to do it. Larry Nelson of the USA, previously, going back quite a while, and in recent times Francesco Molinari for Team Europe, who did it. Yeah, good performance by Justin Johnson, good performance by Team USA all around, who were deserved winners, really. So on that note, I'm going to stop. I hope you've enjoyed this week's podcast as always. If you've got any comments to make, please leave them in the comments below. One other thing before I go, big game in the NFL this weekend. Tom Brady's Buccaneers are playing against the Patriots, his old team for 20 years. He said he wants to kick the butt, not nastily, but because he wants to beat them. So I'm sure Peter will be watching this and thinking, oh no. But yeah, your boyfriend Tom is coming back to beat you up. Alright, on that note, I'll end it there, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.